Good day, everyone. We are the Group 4 reporters, and today we would like to discuss the two topics that assigned to us. First topic is about exploring China's involvement on the global drug economy. Objectives. At the end of the discussion, we would be able to first, understand the involvement of China towards global drug economy. Second, determine what are the specific drugs do they produce. Third, understand the origin, supplier, precursor, and the consumer of the fentanyl and the methamphetamine. China is a major player of the global drug economy, both as a producer and a consumer of the various types of drugs. China is the largest source of synthetic drugs such as the fentanyl, methamphetamine, ketamine, and their precursors, which are chemicals used to make drugs. China has been accused as being a major source of some illegal drugs such as the fentanyl, methamphetamine, and their precursors. Even before, China has been involved or known as the major countries or one of those countries who cultivate an opium, which is a psychoactive drug that is derived from opium poppy plant. But today, China has been known to be a major source of fentanyl and methamphetamine and their precursors, and they are smuggled in different countries, including the United States. Mexico serves as a transit point of smuggling fentanyl to the United States with Sinaloa and Jalisco, the new generation cartels that is heavily involved in the production and the distribution of the fentanyl and other synthetic opioids, meaning the precursors or the fentanyl will be delivered first into the Mexico. So these cartels will operate clandestine laboratories in Mexico where they sensitize the fentanyl using those precursors coming from China. So once the precursors or the fentanyl is delivered in the Mexico, it often combined with different substances such as heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and other substances to increase its potency and its profit. So, fentanyl and methamphetamine are those synthetic drugs that are produced and trafficked in China. So, the supply of these drugs in China is placed in various locations, such as in clandestine laboratories. So, clandestine laboratories, these are the hidden facilities where fentanyl and methamphetamine are manufactured for the precursors, which are chemicals used to make drugs. They can be easily to set up and dismantled and avoid detection and regulation. Some of these clandestine laboratories are reported in areas such as in Shanghai, Wuhan, Shandong, and Guangdong, and other specific locations in the China. Next is online platforms. So these are the websites or the application where the fentanyl and methamphetamine and their precursors and products are sold and shipped by the consumer. So it is an easier way to order or to buy this kind of drugs or synthetic drugs and their precursors. So these platforms include encrypting, message app, dark web, marketplaces, and e-commerce sites. Some example of these online platforms that had been used or investigated by the Chinese or the US authorities are the ChemLab, the Alphabet, and the Alibaba. Third is smuggling routes. So there are ways or paths by which a fentanyl and methamphetamine precursors are produced and transported to the China and from China to the other countries, especially to the Mexico and the United States. These routes includes air cargo, postal mail, sea freight, land vehicles, or human couriers. So that's their way to deliver or to traffic those precursors and those synthetic drugs. Fentanyl and the methamphetamine are the major drugs that is produced in China. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is highly addictive and lethal. It is a powerful synthetic opioid. When you say synthetic, opioids, meaning it is purely man-made and it's not derived from the natural sources like heroin or the morphine, but its effect is just the same like those narcotic drugs. That is why he is called as synthetic opioids. So it is known as the powerful synthetic opioids. It's because this kind of drugs is 50 to 100 times more potent than the morphine and 30 to 50 times more potent than the heroin. So imagine only 2 milligrams of fentanyl is enough to make someone overdosed. On the other hand, methamphetamine is a synthetic drug that stimulates the nervous system and causes euphoria, alertness, and addiction. So China is the largest source of methamphetamine and the fentanyl. The precursors and the chemicals are made in China. These drugs are shipped to Mexico, and the cartels finish the fentanyl to make final product and send it to across the borders.
China is known as the largest source of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and the consumers are US, Mexico, Canada, and other countries. The process of making synthetic drugs though involves various steps, but it must include a key ingredient called precursor. Here are some common precursors of fentanyl and methamphetamine. First, we have NPP or N-phenyl 4,5-pyridine. It is used as an intermediate daw sa paghimo ng fentanyl. Due to sa paggamit ng para sa tagbawal na fentanyl, it is controlled substance na daw sa China and US. Pero it can be obtained from other countries like Mexico and India. Ang ikaduha kay ANPP or 4-anilino N-phenyl 5-pyridine. Ini daw kay paspas na intermediary chemicals na gamit para sa process ng synthesis ng mga tago na operation or zone tagtawag nato na clandestine laboratory para sa tagbawal na fentanyl. Tapos, ini daw kay same rasab sa NPP na controlled substance sa China tapos US. Pero, ma-obtain sab gyapon sila sa line countries. Tuyo kay propionic anhydride. It can be used daw to convert 4-NPP to fentanyl. Tapos, it can also be used to convert non-fentanyl to fentanyl. Let's proceed sa precursor ng methamphetamine. We have ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. And ephedrine and pseudoephedrine are extracted from ephedra plants and synthesized from other chemicals. Tapos, and both daw ay regulated sa China and US, but they can be smuggled from other countries daw like India, Myanmar. Another precursor of methamphetamine we have P2P or phenyl acetone. Tapos, it is used to react with methylamine to produce methamphetamine. And P2P daw, also known as supermeth daw, it is a variant standard methamphetamine daw. Ang P2B daw is a controlled substance sa China and sa US gapon. But it can be made from other chemicals daw like benzyl chloride and acetic anhydride.
Where the supply of these drugs in China? Kung saan ba ito yung nagayan mga supply na mga drugs na galing sa China like the methamphetamine and fentanyl? Kung saan ba nakabase ang mga illegal drugs na sindikato na nag-supplies ng mga sa ibang bansa. Meron isang membro ng isang sindikato, si Wang Songqing, is directed members of the syndicate to establish companies that would be used for cover to move pharmaceutical product internationally. Si Wang Songqing daw is nagutos ito sa mga members niya para maghimo ng mga kampanya para i-cover, para i-move ang mga pharmaceutical products international. Kibali ang pharmaceutical product ito ang mga pintanil, kay ang pharmaceutical product sa China is kinaprotektahan ng China government. Kaya ito na ini na mga kampanya is makatabang sa ekonomiya. Like ang mga taon na ay mga trabaho, makahatag ng tax structures, makahatag ng mga dolyar na buwis na gikan sa China government. Ini ay is legal sa ilaha. Illegal na lamang ini sa US, kaya US is against ini sa ini na mga product. Din si Wang Chongqing Kibali, tungod sa gusto niya ng mga mas makwartahan kasi gamove sila ng mga pharmaceutical products sa ibang bansa like the Mexico and US. Amun sila ang kibali para sumikat sila, para meron sila ng maraming pera nga na. Meron isang member ng sindikato previously under kibali ni Wang Chongqing, si Du Changqing. Si Du Changqing is sumikat, sumikat sa sa grupo nila under ni Wang Chongqing to prominence and currently maintains the greatest influence. Siya na nag-maintains ng mga impluwensya ng mga pagsusupply ng mga fentanyl sa ibang bansa. Ini na sindikato is responsible sila kay tungod against mga US ini na mga drugs. Ila responsible or mga pananagutan sa gipanghimo ni Dong Changqing. Ito ay ang manufacturing. Ito ay paghimo ng mga illegal drugs na ginasupply nila sa ibang bansa, and the distributions, pamamahagi ng mga illegal drugs ng mga tuloy-tuloy dami ng mga fentanyl and methamphetamine and MDA and precursors and mga pinagbabawal na chemical na para ma-synthesize ang mga nahimo na fentanyl and methamphetamine. Ang sindikato nila ni Dong Changqing is ang network nila ay may kakayahang mag-synthesize ng multi-thousand na kilograms, at ang mga nagpatatakbo nito ay sa ilalim niya ay may responsible para sa mga humigit kumulang na 900 kilo na nasamsam na nila ng fentanyl and methamphetamine, ginasupply nila sa Mexico and sa US. At pinasisiwaan kibali ni Dong Changqing ang malanging grupo na ito, itawag na sales teams. Kibali ang sales team is nagpapadala sila at tumatanggap ng pera like the bank wire o transfer ng mga kwarta, at kibali nagbaylo na sila ng kibali ng illegal drugs. Din si Wang Chongqing is kibay siya nagturo ng mga sa member na magtatag ng drone company para sa mga international drug trafficking. Sa ini na sindikato is nailan dosi-dosinadang mga trafficker na narcotic kibali yung mga fentanyl o methamphetamine, mga illegal drugs and narcotics, kibali gina transfer nila sa US like the dark way, vendor or virtual currency or money laundering. Tungod nga na mas lumawak pa ang ila kibali kalakalan dito sa ibang bansa. Mas madami pa ang ilang mga kampanya na gitatag nila ni Dong Changqing at Wang Chongqing. Kibali ini sila duha, ini si Dong Changqing o si Wang Chongqing is inisyuhan sila ng OPAC kay tungod sa nakita ng US government na sila ang sindikato ng paghip ng manufacturing or mga distribution ng isang mga illegal drugs sa ibang bansa like the Mexico and the US. Inisyuhan sila ng Executive Order 14059 by international na paglaganap ng pinagbabawal na gamot, mga activities, mga transaction nila sa ibang bansa nga mga ginimo nila ni Dong Changqing. Din si Dong Changqing is na mga kalamuhan na organizations na nakabis sa Mexico like the Sinaloa Carter and the CDI. May mga hinimo nila ni Dong Changqing na mas lumawak pa ang mga kampanya tungod sa mga illegal drugs nila na ginahimo through money laundering.
gabi sa tanan may report is heavy Guanlang Fang technology. So it is an entity that the public advertise the sale of pentylene and methamphetamine. So sila nag-public advertise sa pagbaligya sa pentylene o methamphetamine. So para may ganyan lain na lugar bita para makapalit sila ng pentylene o methamphetamine. So, di ba, ang fentanyl sa China is kuan legal over the counter, mapalit mo sa kuan sa China. Then sa lain na lugar is illegal na siya. Naman bawal. Then sa Guanlang Fang is he is the owner siyang tagiyanan heavy Guanlang Fang technology. So, anuang mingming siya mo dawat ng kwarta ibaylo ang pentylene o methamphetamine. So, kibali siya mo dawat nan kwarta. Then, Hanhong Medicine Technology. Siyan, ang pharmacy sa Wuhan, China, nga manufactured or nag-distribute ini ang pinakadako na quality sa methamphetamine o pentylene. Kibali siya nag-distribute sa lain na lugar. Like for example sa Mexico, di ba siya nag-distribute or nag-manufactured. Kibali siya nag-distribute. So si Jin Wang, he is the national Chinese yan who is the infected sa China.
There are some countries that are major consumer of fentanyl and methamphetamine. The first country is the United States. The United States is the largest market and destination for fentanyl and methamphetamine from China. So, ang US or United States, sila ang pinakadako na market ng fentanyl and methamphetamine drugs gikan sa China. The US faces a deadly opioid crisis and rising methamphetamine problem fueled by influx of this drug from China. Fentanyl and methamphetamine cause thousands of overdose deaths and addiction case in every year in the US. So, ang United States nag-face ng big problem or thousands of people na yang matay tungod sa fentanyl. Kay ang fentanyl bisan gamay da nimo na ang imo i-take, dako ang taas ang iya dosage naman ang iba na tao kung dili ka control amen mag-cause ng ila pagkamatay. So in 2022 ang total ng tao na namatay tungod sa fentanyl is 73,654 katao. Then next country is Mexico. Mexico is the major transit and consumer country for fentanyl and methamphetamine from China. So, ang Mexico ang major na nag-deliver or nag-distribute ng fentanyl and methamphetamine gikan sa China tungod sa drug cartel source fentanyl precursor from China and then process them into finished fentanyl or mix them with other drugs such as heroin and cocaine. So, ang Mexico or ang Mexican amoy na precursor from China. Then, sila ang process o para ma-smuggle ang fentanyl or mix or gisagulan nila other drugs such as heroin or cocaine. Then, also, ang Mexico nag-face up sila nag-suffer from drug-related violence and corruption as well as health and social problems tungod sa mga illegal drugs.
Australia is a significant consumer and destination countries for methamphetamine from China. Australia has one of the highest rates of methamphetamine use in the world, especially among young people and rural residents. Methamphetamine, also known as ice causes every physical and mental health effects as well as crime and social issues. Australia has seized large quantities of methamphetamine from China.
Canada. Canada is a significant market and destination for fentanyl and methamphetamine from China. Canada has experienced a surge in opioid overdoses and deaths, mainly driven by the fentanyl and its analogs. Canada has also seen an increase in methamphetamine use and seizures, especially in the western provinces. So, Canada is a major market and destination for Chinese fentanyl and methamphetamine. So, Canada has experienced opioid crisis in opioid overdose and deaths, mainly driven by the fentanyl and its analogs. So, for Canadian people, crisis has its roots in high level of addiction sa legal opioids. So, aside sa social and economic inequities and mental health issues kung bakit nag-engage ang tao, isa sa mga rason ay ang inappropriate prescribing practices and poor education about sa risk na makukuha sa pagsobrang gamit ng opioids. Kasi ang nangyari sa Canada, kung bakit sila nagkaroon ng surge in opioid overdose deaths driven by fentanyl, it is because the medical uses to manage pain. Aside from that, there are illegally produced version of powerful opioids with legitimate use of fentanyl show up in Canada, at yun ang illegal drug market. So, pumapasok dito ang self-medication, poverty, kung bakit nagkakaroon sila ng overdose and deaths. So, dahil nga sa misuse of prescription of opioids, medication, and overconsumption. Canada practice of combining the methamphetamine with synthetic opioids such as fentanyl. Sometimes they call it as golf ball. There are multiple reasons why people combine the methamphetamine and opioids. It is because they want to save money, because methamphetamine is often cheaper than the fentanyl, and it can extend effects which it reduce the need to buy more. Second, isa rin ito sa mga reason nila kung why they combine methamphetamine and opioids such as fentanyl. It is because to prolong the euphoric effects of opioids, or to avoid the opioids withdrawal. So how did Canada respond to this problem? So ang ginawa ng Canada, they implemented the various measures. Measures to address the drug crisis, such action, harm reduction, safe consumption sites, and drug checking services. Japan is a major consumer and transit country for methamphetamine from China. Japan is one of the highest rates of methamphetamine use in Asia, especially among young people and workers. At may iba't ibang pamamaraan din sila sa pag-take ng methamphetamine. They call it aburi, which means evaporating. So, ang ginagawa nila, sinusunog nila ang methamphetamine, then the rising smoke, they will inhale it. As to them, it is one of the easier way to take the substance. But no matter how it is taken, methamphetamine has the same effect. So what group nga ba ang nagsusupply ng methamphetamine sa Japan? So, they call it Dojinkai, a yakuza organization where Dojinkai has also been known as de facto drug cartel. So, as its activities has allegedly included large scale of drug trafficking, especially methamphetamine trafficking. So, Dojinkai is is the Japan's largest wholesaler and dealer. So, sino-sino nga ba ang most user ng methamphetamine sa Japan? According to the research, 86% of people who use methamphetamine included those young people and workers. So why workers? So why workers are included in one of the user? So dahil nga sa Japan, it is known for being a workaholic, where they extremely emphasize dedication to one's work. So para hindi sila makaramdam ng pagod o pagkaantok, they use methamphetamine to energize, to increase energy, alertness, increase wakefulness and physical activity. So, but those are the other side of using methamphetamine. But when methamphetamine is abused now, it causes serious health and social problems such as psychosis and violence and crime. So, what did Japan do to address these drug problems? So, Japan has adopted the anti-drug laws and enforcement, as well as the prevention and treatment. Ang ginawa ng Japan, ang ginawa nila kagaya ng pag-ban ng mga over-the-counter medicine and strictly enforce anti-stimulant drug law. Kasama na rin ang 5-year drug abuse strategy ng Japan, where this strategy focus on education and public awareness, treatment, reintegration of people who use drugs and those drug dealers.
New Zealand is a significant consumer and destination country for methamphetamine from China. New Zealand is one of the highest rates of methamphetamine use in the world, especially among Maori and Pacific Islander communities. Among Maori, ginagamit nila methamphetamine for non-medical purposes or to get high. Tapos, and who abuse methamphetamine feel high and full of energy. Kiwali pag nakatik sila methamphetamine, kung sila high sila, tas work, kabali, bisag gabi na, trabaho gapon sila kay nung dili sila maka-feel og kahago. Tapos, they think the drug will allow their bodies to keep going and going. Pero wala sila kabaw nga kaning methamphetamine is gabi nag-apekto sa lawas, kabali makadaot, tas pati sa hunahuna nimo bitaw makadaot sa hunahuna, makakuan sa imong heartbeat, makadaot.
Our second topic is about Myanmar, the largest producer of opium and methamphetamine in Southeast and East Asia.
Now, I will be reporting about the introduction or overview about the Myanmar country. The Golden Triangle, encompassing Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand, is the world's largest methamphetamine producing area, which is previously known as Yaba or Ice. It was the fastest growing source of methamphetamine. However, the region's lawlessness and decreased production facilities suggest that methamphetamine manufacture is now concentrated in the lower Mekong region. Now, what are the drugs that they produce? And according to the research that the Golden Triangle historically a hub for opium production is now home to Myanmar, which controls the second largest production area for heroin. Kung sa KHUN SA, a freedom fighter established the illicit economy in Myanmar. However, the heroin trade was disrupted by new kingpin in Afghanistan and Pakistan in the year 1996. Kun, which is kung sa retired from opium business, instead they develop a new drug which is now identified as methamphetamine, which is easier to produce and cross borders without detection. In 2020, Myanmar reported the largest drug operation in Shan State.
Where does the meth all going? So methamphetamine is a massive popular throughout the East Asias, notably in Thailand and in the Philippines. So it is also distributed to the markets of Australia and New Zealand, where meth fetches far higher prices than it does in Southeast Asia. Meaning, mostly Malaysians distributed the methamphetamine, especially to those first world countries, because it fetches or it produces a higher price compared to those third world countries. So they will make sure that they will deliver they will traffic the methamphetamine to the Australias or the New Zealand. It's because it has a higher price, and this trades is largely controlled by the biker gangs. So ang mag-receive ng mga drugs, especially to the Australia or the New Zealands, are those gangs or the biker gangs na ilama contact. So amo ra gyapon sila ng mga like sa Jalisco or the Mexican cartels. So may gangs gihapon dito sa New Zealand in which amoy mag-receive or there will be the receivers of the said drug, which is the methamphetamine.
Organized crime group. There are several ethnics aimed organizations in Myanmar that are involved in drug trade, especially in productions and trafficking of opium, heroin, and methamphetamine. According to the web search result, some of the most permanent ones are the United Wa State Army. This is the largest and stronger ethnic aims group in Myanmar, with an estimated number of 30,000 soldiers. It controls a de facto autonomous territory in border with China, where it produces and ships synthetic drugs such as fentanyl and methamphetamine to other countries. The United Wa State Army is accused by United States of running a narco empire that has bloated Asia with illegal drugs. The United Wa State Army, ito ang pinakamalaki at pinakamalakas na etnikong armadong grupo sa Myanmar na may tinatayang 30,000 na kawal. Kinukontrol nito ang isang de facto autonomous territory sa gilid ng China, kung saan ito ang nagproproduce at nagpapadala ng mga sintetikong droga tulad ng fentanyl at methamphetamine sa ibang mga bansa. Kung saan hindi lamang sa China at sa Europe kundi sa entire Asia.
Let us continue about the topic organized crime group. So first is the Shan States Army. This is an ethnic Shan group that operates in the northern Shan states, where most of Myanmar's opium and heroin are produced. The SSE collects taxes from the poppy farmers and the drugs merchants and provide protection for the drugs laboratories. The SSE also produces and smuggles methamphetamine to the neighboring countries. So, ang Shan States ay ito ay isang etnikong grupo ng Shan na naghari sa ilagang bahagi ng Shan State, kung saan karamihan ng opio at heroin ng Myanmar ay ginagawa. So ito palang Shan States ay gumagawa sila ng heroin, opio, at kinukulikta din nila ang buwis mula sa mga magsasaka ng papi at mga nalalakal ng droga, at namibigay ng proteksyon sa mga laboratorio ng droga na produce rin at nag-smuggles na ang SSE ng methamphetamine sa kalapit na bansa. So nag-smuggle sila, so nagbibenta sila ng methamphetamine sa ibang bansa, no, at hindi lang at nagpo-produce din ng mga drugs. The Kachin Independence Army, o KIA. This is an ethnic Kachin group that fight for the autonomy in the Kachin states, where opium cultivation has increased in recent years. The KIA is
involve the drug trade as a source of income and means of resistance against the central governments. Ang Kachin Independence Army, ito ay isang etnikong grupo ng mga Kachin na lumalaban para sa autonomiya sa Kachin states, kung saan nagkaroon ng pag-usbong ang pag-aani ng opyo sa mga nakaraang taon. So, sangkot ang KIA sa kalakalan ng droga bilang pinagkukunan ng kita at paraan ng resistensya laban sa sentral na pamahalaan. Napoproduce rin at nagtutulak ng methamphetamine ang KIA sa iba't ibang rehiyon. So, same lang sila kanina, no, na nagpoproduce din ng methamphetamine sa iba't ibang rehiyon o kalapit na bansa. So, ito pala ang Kachin, ay lumalaban sila para sa kanilang grupo, para musbong lalo ang kanilang pagtatanim ng opyo o pag-aani ng opyo. So, pinapalago nila at pinaprotektahan nila ang kanilang pagtatanim ng isang opyo para maging malawak at maging malaki ang kanilang organisasyon at mas malaki ang kanilang kita.
Based about the informations, drug possesses a serious challenges to the international community. To sum up, in China, the fentanyl and methamphetamine crisis is a global challenge that requires international cooperations and coordinations among law enforcement agencies, governments, and health organizations. On the other hand, the enormous growth of methamphetamine in Myanmar was also identified as a major or a key challenges confronting policymakers and law enforcement agencies. The market profits feed directly into the political and security infrastructures of the country. In illegal markets, it is the traffickers, warlords, and corrupt officials who reap the reward. It is very important for us to understand or to learn about the drug trade in different countries so that we could be able to understand and to identify the key players in the drug trade, understand the supply chain, and track the flow of drugs. And that would be all. Thank you for listening and God bless.